Miss Diana said, "Hi, April."
Hi, my love. She always got my back.
University of South Carolina, USC, Brent Whiteside. That's like cool. Any other colleges? We're gonna call everybody out now. Yes, she said yes, she does. Diana. ECU. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, all right, about another 30 seconds here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Temple, TU. Yeah. All right. So we got April's theme song going right now. All right. Oh, it's a new day?
Yes, it's a new day for all of us. A brand new day.
Ready to do this? High five. High five. All right. It's a new day, April?
Yes.
All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get started. Again, we appreciate everybody for coming on, and people are still piling on, April.
Awesome.
So I hope you're ready to knock this thing out. There you go. Prayers up. All right, so let's do this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules this Tuesday evening. And April, how long have we been working on this? We've been putting this together for...
It feels like 3 months, but I think it's been about 6 weeks to 2 months.
About 6 weeks to 2 months. So for about the last 6 to 8 weeks, we've been working very closely to put together not only what you're going to see tonight, but we have so much more to offer. And again, this is April's brainchild. This is a brand new you.
Yay!
Let's see. Stephanie Jones just had a question, and again, I'm going to explain the whole process in just a minute. But Stephanie, if you called in to see the webinar, you can actually download the GoToWebinar app. So if you go to the App Store, if you're on iPhones, or if you go to the Play Store, if you're on Google, you can type in GoToWebinar, and you can actually click on that, or just type in the number, and you can actually see the slides on your phone. Okay. So anyone else, if you're on your phone and you want to see the slides, just download the app. It will bring you up live, okay? It will bring you up live, and you can see everything that we see, all right? Okay, so are you good to go, Abe? Stephanie, are you good to go? Just type in the chat window. Any other questions? And guys, we will be taking questions live, and I'll get to that in just a minute. All right, so again, this training is by April Love. April Love presents a brand new you, and tonight she's going to show you a few steps on how to define, design, and deliver your purpose-driven brand so you can live a life of abundance. And I am the annoying voice that you hear. I'm Anthony A.J. Joyner. I am a producer for tonight's training, and I'm really excited to be here. But we're gonna keep it moving along.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do some house cleaning stuff tonight. So again, April is the host. I am the co-host. Listen, here's what we want you guys to do right now at this very moment. I want everybody to pull out your phone. Everybody that can hear my voice, pull out your phone right now, and I want you to take a picture of the screen. I want you to take a picture of the screen. I want you to go to Instagram, and I want you to follow Ask April Love if you're not following her already. And I want you to go to Instagram, and I want you to follow AJ Joyner. I will be taking your questions in a couple different ways. Number one, I will be watching Instagram. I will be watching for questions for Ask April Love. So if you take a picture, you tag April, tag myself on your picture. And our hashtag for tonight is #ABrandNewYou. All right? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? So again, just to reiterate, because people are still piling on April.
Wonderful.
Just to reiterate. I will be answering your questions via Instagram. That is the social network, the social media channel that we're going to use tonight. Kim says, well, what's up, Kim? That's another. We have 2 Gremlin people on. We're going to take the questions via Instagram, AJ Joyner. Follow me and Ask April Love. And our hashtag for tonight is #ABrandNewYou. All right, so I have one more thing to say, and then I'm going to be out of your way, and you will be talking to the lady of the hour. So what are we going to do tonight? So April, again, we've been working together for about 8 weeks. We put together this training. We're going to talk about who is April Love. So the April that we see today has a story. Some people say it's a testimony. Some people say it's a story. Some people say it's a backstory. But you know, it's a story. Sometimes you look at people and you see their success, but you don't necessarily know what they went through to get to that success, right? So we see, you know, we see the finished product. April is going to share a little bit of her backstory with you guys so that she can show you the road she traveled, and based on what she shows you, she has value that she can add to you by, you know, helping you get through some of the things that she went through. All right? So we're going to talk about that. Then she's going to talk about, this is where you get your notebooks out, ladies and gentlemen. Again, keep taking pictures. Take a picture of the screen, share it on Instagram. She's going to talk about personal brands and business brands and who are the perfect candidates. So everybody wants to build a business. Everybody wants to build a brand. But April has detailed a few things that she looks for when a new client comes to her, like AJ, and I say, hey, April, I want to be a brand. She going to look at it like, AJ, first of all, you're crazy, so you need to go somewhere. But she's going to tell you some of the things that she has outlined and, you know, that she looks for as success factors in building a brand. And then, last but not least, so in this 8-week period, she has hand-selected a whole bunch of experts and brands and people who have traveled down that road, and they have worked together to put together an incredible training. And you guys are going to be blown away at this training, number one. And then number two, because you guys are on the early bird training, she has this extremely special offer that you guys will get tonight that other people will not get. All right? All right. So let me see if there are any more questions before we get started. Let's see. My phone is dead on the charger. Okay.
Oh, no.
You need to get a charger. Get a charger. My phone is dead on the charger. Okay.
Well, how are you texting us then? How are you?
No, I think she's typing on the computer.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. So any other questions? I'm gonna take questions really quickly before we get started. I'm gonna give you guys about 5 or 10 seconds. If you have a question, type it in the chat window. Now, as April talks, I may jump in with one of your questions.
Okay.
I may not jump in on one of your questions, April. So if I interrupt you, let's just go with it. All right.
Okay.
So everything is kind of scripted tonight, but I like to kind of be interactive with the audience. So I may turn somebody's microphone on and let you ask April's question. I may just ask the question directly from the chat window. But here's what I want you to do. Number one, do not stop taking pictures of the screen and tagging us on Instagram. Number two, as your questions arise, go ahead and type them in the chat window because April has a lot of information to cover, and I don't want to miss anybody's question, okay? Number three, share this with your friends, with your colleagues, anybody that you know right now that's building a business. Go ahead and text them or share it on Facebook. Like, look, guys, here's an opportunity to learn from one of the best in the business. And if you guys will do those three things, I'll make sure and try to manage the back end as much as possible. And April is here to teach and to share. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put your virtual hands together, and by virtual, I want you to type clap or applause or something in the chat window. Ladies and gentlemen, the lady we've been waiting to hear from, Miss April Love. Clap, clap. They're clapping.
Oh,
clap,
thank
clap,
you
clap,
all.
clap,
Thank you
clap,
all.
clap, clap. Yay. Elena says yay. All right, cool. All right, April. It is all on you. Stephanie says clap, clap, clap. All right, and again, guys, remember to type your questions in here. All right, April.
Well, hello, guys. I'm so excited. You don't know how I'm clapping for you because you are really like making me feel so encouraged. I've had a challenging past 3 or 4 days health-wise, so send all your positive energy. But I would never have missed this opportunity to share with you. So thank you for being in. Thank you for clocking in. Thank you for supporting what we're doing. So let's get started. So who is April? And if anybody knows me, I am not one to talk about myself. I have spent a career pushing, boosting, and promoting other people. So to talk about April, okay, this is going to be interesting. So I am a little bit of Yankee and a little bit of Southern Peach. My family was split between the New York tri-state area, New Jersey, and I ended up settling in Macon, Georgia with my family. And I feel like I have enough of the New York grind and no-nonsense attitude, but I like the little piece of the peach. I love the Southern hospitality. I love the compassion for other people. And I think those two really emulate who I am as a person. Entrepreneur. If anybody knows me, I mean, if you met me in the 5th grade or if you met me 5 minutes ago, you know that I'm an entrepreneur. So that bug got to me really, really early. As I was sharing with AJ, we were talking about the very first time I knew that. And some people know if they worked at a job maybe 5, 10 years. But for me, it was early on. It was more like middle school. And I'm going to say it was a good and a bad situation because basically I had been around a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. So I understood what commerce was and that sort of thing. So I basically found an opportunity. I knew that we didn't have vending machines in my school. I knew that we all ran and tried to sneak away from campus to the Candy Lady, if you're familiar with that person, or to the corner store, Little Bodegas, whatever you had. But I wanted to be that resource. So my mom and my aunt, we had access to, I guess it would be like equivalent to like a BJ's, Whole Foods, or like a Costco or something like that. But I said, I want to sell candy. Now, mind you, I did not share with them that that may have some ramifications as it relates to possible detention and possible, meetings with the principal. But I basically created my first business when I was in middle school. And I enlisted my fellow classmates, and I became the official candy girl. I took a summer to really think this business through. You understand? I was like, at certain times of the year, I can't sell chocolate, so I'll sell now laters, I'll sell Starburst first. And I really thought about how I can maximize all the grades because it was the middle grades. So I enlisted friends that were on another hall or friends on, in another building. And I really figured out, how to basically separate the wheat from the tare. There were people that, would eat the candy. There were people that were very lazy. So I learned early on that your team is monumental in your success. So I fired people. And I ran this business the entire year. I got all the way to spring break. And because I was a little bit off doing like the pep rally kind of thing, I was busted. And they found out the source of all this candy that was, going through the, 6th and 7th grade. And, like I said, the inevitable meeting with my mom came about. But it doesn't matter because I learned at that point I was an entrepreneur. I had enough money for a bike for the following summer. And I knew it would be a little bit more careful and pick another business. Pick a business that I could, fulfill to the end. So that bug bit me, and I had an amazing time doing that. Then I can say that I was really influenced by my family. The most would be my mom and my uncle because they taught me, and I guess if anybody's around me now, from interns to mentees to friends, they'll hear me say a lot about the average millionaire has multiple streams of income, at least 7. I don't care if it's an MLM, I don't care if it's like e-commerce. You have to have multiple things working for you because at the end of the day, you want to make money while you sleep. So my family taught me that. I had a family full of, nurses and teachers, and my uncle and my mom worked in the school system. And my mom was actually something that it was not an eBay back then, there wasn't internet, but she had created a business as an antique dealer. Like she would find out about things like estate sales or, combing through obituaries, like people, oh, this is an affluent family, they have product, they have, the kids are not going to want to lug this back to wherever they live, so she created a business, and she would drag me and my brother along, and then he really got into it, but I realized what I was able to see, because I was able to be like a little bookkeeper for her, she would buy something, and she would mark it up 500%, and I said, wait a minute, so that person's junk is your fortune. She was making more money on the weekends doing this business, going up and down the coast, enlisting my aunt, my godmother, and my cousin. She, basically made money to hire other people. And then she would be active in church and then right back at work on Monday. So she not only showed me the potential for profitability and multiple streams of income, but she also showed me work ethic. And that stayed with me to this day. That's why I don't have a problem doing a webinar or anything 9 o'clock at night and waking up and handling my business the next morning. Work ethic is essential. My family taught me that. So moving on, like I said, I've always looked for opportunities, and as you know, we're not able to really have gainful employment until we were around like 16 years old. And so when we started to have these team parties, and I've always been a talker. I guess that's why it made all the sense in the world that I would end up with a career closely related to public relations, because I relate with the public, somewhat of a social butterfly. I'm an introverted extrovert, but I remember parties at the most popular places, and one of them was our skating rink. back home. And they would have the team parties because we couldn't go to the bars and things like that. And me and my friends, we started being, regulars. Basically, the skating rink would turn into like a little teen club at a certain time of the night or on the weekends. And the guys who were promoting it, college guy and one of the owners, they would say, well, hey, April, you and your friends know a lot of people. Hey, they would basically cover our food at concessions if we tell people, guys, the event. I was like, my friends were cool with the snacks. I was like, wait a minute, so we're getting 30, 40 people in here, and you're charging like $10, and they're renting skates, or they're buying this, then you're making this much money, and you only offer me some popcorn and some pizza? No. So we need to have another little meeting. So we need to get a couple dollars off of each person that we enlist to come to the party. And he was like, at first he was reluctant, but he was like, okay, or we don't come. There are other options. And it worked. So that was my official segue into being a club promoter. So, we made some money, and eventually it just taught me some basic foundational things about profit margins. And, so that's how it all got started, from the candy girl to the teen club promoter to where I am now. So I did go on to have jobs. I've always been, very strategic about where I worked. I worked for the Gap because I like the clothes. But I went on to school. My focus then, was really trying to get on with my life, and I was just in a hurry. I was in a hurry. I was one of those people that was in a hurry to get to adulthood. Hindsight, and maybe I would have told my 18-year-old self to slow down and smell the roses and enjoy the journey, but for whatever reason and whatever I was watching on TV, I was just anxious to get there. So I went on to attend Florida A&M, which I love, and I support that school to this day, and it's turned out some amazing alumni. And I'm a huge supporter of all HBCUs. I wanted to go to Spelman originally, and I had the poster on my wall forever, but I knew I was going to be involved in somewhat attending an HBCU. I've always been a fan of my people, not racist, not prejudiced. I support all races, but I love to see black people thrive, and that was really something that FAMU showed me the day I touched down and unloaded the U-Haul. There were beautiful black people teaching us who had so many letters after their names, masters and juris doctorates and, attorneys that were coming back to pour into us, and a lot of them were alumni from HBCUs themselves. And it opened me up to that culture, and I met people from Chicago, so I really, we connected on house music, and I met people from Miami, and, started to understand the culture of Cuba and all these places, and I just really fell in love with the world, and I knew I wouldn't be one of those people that, was born and raised in a place, found myself back to that place. I knew I would be a global kind of person, and that was a lot. I can give a lot of that to FAMU. I ended up studying journalism and marketing, and I interned. I interned because they're required to give you some real-world experience as an undergrad. So I ended up working for Ketchum. I ended up working for General Mills. But one of my greatest experiences was my internship in Atlanta. I had been familiar with New York. My family was like, she's just waiting to finish school so she can live in New York, because New York was just everything to me. I feel like if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I've always spoke about New York, the Big Apple. It's going to be where I make my mark. But I came to an internship in Atlanta and fell in love. I mean, the black people here were doing, it was like a true mecca. They dominated politics, they dominated commerce, finance, and entertainment. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I actually ended up moving to Atlanta and ended up taking classes at Georgia State as well. So I had the experience of having like traditional university as well as HBCU, and both were rewarding. Very much so, because from a mainstream perspective, I knew that I could still have a love for my culture and my people, but there was a world out there that I needed to be a part of. So I didn't want to have a singular vision. I wanted to have a global vision. So I feel like I had the best of both worlds. My experience at FAM, my experience at Georgia State, and I feel like I'm a lifelong student because I attended classes at NYU. I've taken classes at State University of New York. I've taken classes at schools like the Creative Circus because I want to learn. That's why I feel it's so valuable, and it's a great opportunity to teach this course because I just want people to just kind of like have that, vision ahead of them, letting somebody say, hey, you might want to stop and take this opportunity. Hey, you may want to know that these opportunities are out there for you to get to that dream and that purpose that you want fulfilled. I have on here, I want to also say that I'm a writer. That's what I've always been. I've been a journaler since before Oprah talked about it. I mean, boxes and boxes of journals. When we moved from another house and we moved, around when I was younger, I was more concerned about my journals and taking care of my journals and my books. And to this day, I'm a book junkie. And I like a physical book. E-books are cool, but I still got to have that book. So I found opportunities to write for magazines that I really liked, like and I didn't even know those opportunities were out there. That's what I'm saying. You have to really explore and see what there is in this world that you could be drawn to and connected with. You may see a Essence or a XXL or a Source on the newsstand, but me, I was always looking at the front, looking for the editor and saying, hey, how can I write a magazine? My first real opportunity was to be a stringer, for Essence, and that's basically someone who's in another market, and they may want to cover something in that particular market, so they reach out to you and you string it up and you get the information for the editor and that sort of thing. I got my first spread with the Source magazine, which was amazing because I was able to write about the Atlanta culture, and I exposed so many different entrepreneurs at the time. They were my friends, like my friend Marco with Marco's Pita that became like a mainstay for years in Atlanta for a lot of the AUC students, like people like DJ Mars and DJ Trauma, people that are people that are touring the world with artists, all came out of that place. But had I not had the opportunity to expose the world to places like that, as a writer, I just felt like I was able to just give people insight into what we had going on in this culture that I was being able to cultivate my life in. So writing is always and will always be a real key part of everything I do. As I mentioned, traditionally, like everyone, I had the corporate scenarios first, the General Mills and the Ketchum and different companies of temping, the traditional early 20s route like everyone would have. My journey was kind of synonymous with what everyone else is going through, but I knew there was something else out there, and I was able to intern, like I said, and I've always been the person to network and find out I'm in this place for a reason. If I worked anywhere, I was in there for a reason. It wasn't just a job to me. It was an opportunity to connect something else to a dot that was going to lead me to the greater purpose of what I was supposed to be doing. And I had actually, I guess, started to kind of build on my vision. I didn't have a vision board because I didn't, get turned on the vision boards until a few years back, which I firmly believe in that and the law of attraction. But I was doing it long before I really knew what it was. And allowing the God to kind of guide my steps for them to work. I felt like when I was in New York, I felt like I was a little fish. But in Atlanta, I felt like I could be a bigger fish. So I set out to be a part of this music scene, and I knew that the players for what I wanted to do were like LaFace, L.A. Reid, Jermaine, So Def, Dallas with Dark and Rowdy, and what Puff was doing, Sean Combs coming back and forth, from New York to Atlanta and making this impact. So I said, okay.
I have a question I want to jump in.
Okay.
So, again, I've heard a little bit of this story, but how did you get introduced to the Puffies? And because I think you kind of explained, I did this, but how did you actually break into that part of it from XXL and all that stuff?
Okay.
Meeting those people.
Okay. Well, prior to writing one of my internships, and which also led to a job, and I did kind of glaze over that though. I worked at Epic. Sony, they had a great internship program. I would suggest that everybody, if there's any undergrads on here or people that have access to college students, please tell them do not forsake the opportunity to volunteer or intern. So I was in the Sony minority internship program, and basically you work there throughout the summer and you work in different departments. at the time, Sony was a big distributor of a lot of these. The Sony BMG thing was a big distributor of a lot of these labels. And my assignment, and the one I really shined in and ended up getting a job with during that period of time, was Flavor Unit. Queen Latifah had her deal through Sony. So I ended up working. It's so crazy because I feel like I worked at 4 places at once, you know. And this is before I came back to Atlanta that time. I basically ended up working with Flavor Unit, doing my internship, doing casting. Every opportunity somebody said they needed something, I was volunteering, even if it wasn't my internship. Hey, we need people to work on this production. Hey, we're doing this casting over here. And that led me to connect with people that were working with, because at the time, you know, Dallas was young, Puff was young, so everybody was, you know, counterparts. So I got connected with employees, Bad Boy employees, Arista employees, and they turned me on to who was a mentor of mine, Dave Gates, who was running, and Claude Austin, who's Dallas Austin's brother, who was very nurturing to me. Lamont Bowles went on to be the executive vice president of Sony, and he's the reason actually I know Puff, because everybody would be in the studios. Like you hear about the Quad Studios, we would all be in the Quad Studios because the artist was in the Quad Studios or in whatever studio you were there, because I'm working with this artists or whatever. How, you know, it kind of just being in the right circles and making sure, and that's why it's so funny, because those stories just ring true all through the industry. Like Pharrell said that he would, even they really didn't have budgets from the labels, the Neptunes would work in the building where like the Puffs and the Jay-Z's were, because then you always would end up in the same corridor or somebody else and say, come listen to this beat or whatever. And that's how he really ended up building that whole roster of the Hitmen, because, you know, it was a lot of hungry producers, like and people that he'd gone to Howard with, and the HBCU connection. So everybody became like a little family, and it became like a 6 degree of separation. So that's kind of how I met those people. Okay, so then when the opportunity came about, taking classes, like I said, at Georgia State, and then hooked up with Dallas and that whole rowdy thing, and worked with Dave and worked with Claude, and really was able to get past just the marketing and the journalism and the public relations educational background I had, and understood that there was a vast opportunity that was kind of like underserved, especially by females, publishing and management and that sort of thing. So I ended up working on the production and the publishing side of that business, and was working with all kinds of producers, from the Tim and Bobs to Stevie J's to, I mean, the people that were just running the music, and I was sucking it all up. I was typing up the deal memos. I was, you know, reading the publishing deals. I was, you know, starting to nurture my own undercurrent of producers and that sort of thing, and becoming like a real, I want to be an expert. You know, I would write like little goals, and even like my friend who actually came up the industry with me, as well as like a Shakir Stewart, and God rest his soul, but he was, it was a lot of very important people that are now major players in the industry. We're all working towards setting goals to really, you know, make our mark. So we would write little, you know, little notes and say, well, hey, this is what I want to do. This is my goal. I really want to work with this person, and that sort of thing. So I went on to do that, and I went on to get hired, like I said, and I learned so much, and that opened the opportunity to work with an up-and-coming production company, and they were doing deals all over the place, Noontime Music, and I'm still to this day, Noonie is a client of mine, and we were able to, you know, just be really respected, and I was able to find myself creating my own mark. And I started to attend these conferences, you know, like I've always been a, you know, education seeker. So I would go to meet them and friends, and I would be the youngest person there. And I would just figure it out, because I had enough French in undergrad to, you know, get my way around. But I would be there with the attorneys and that sort of thing, the people that worked with our, as a matter of fact, the mayor was the attorney for Noontime at the time, Mayor Kasim Reed. So all those relationships were made over the years of being in the right circles and making sure that you're not just in the room, but you're working the room and you're making it work for you. So I would say my, MCA Universal, that was my big coming out and coming into myself. I was able to get my own deal. It was during the time that I was able to secure song deals for the producers that I was working with, that I had met from working with Dallas and working with, around Bad Boy and the Hitmen and working with Noontime, and we were able to secure and develop our own artists and create relationships. I was able to get song deals done with Sylvia Rhone and different people, and I started to have people that were really, I feel like had my best interest. And one of those people, if you guys are still familiar with American Idol, Randy Jackson at MCA Universal, and Naeem Ali, who was also the marketing person for Rowdy Arista, and he went on to be a VP at MCA Universal. They called me in and, heard what I was doing. I was having, I had deals over here and deals over there, and, we were getting placements. We had placements on, all of the Bad Boy artists as writers and producers. We worked with Destiny's Child. We worked with, tons of artists, and so I ended up being able to secure, negotiate my own production situation with MCA and be nurtured by Randy and Naeem. And that just opened up the floodgates. And I felt like I had arrived. I had a car, and, I was out in LA, I was in Atlanta, we had budgets, I got vehicles wrapped for artists that we were working with. I started being able to be a consultant, and I was racking up the sky miles. But I just didn't know. There was way more to that industry than, than meets the eye. Absolutely. But I went on to work in the industry for several years. And I had a moment, and I'll be very transparent with you, because I don't want this to be some superficial webinar that you signed on to for some mundane information that's not practical nor honest. I had a moment. I really had a moment where I realized I was losing myself. I felt like I had to look a certain way. I felt like I had seen how the Leors and the Russells and all the producers and, music industry executives talked, and how the women almost became like androgynous because they didn't know how to be ladylike. You know what I'm saying? It was like you have to be this hardcore, non-integrous, I don't give a kind of person, and I just was not raised that way. Like I said, I have Southern charm too. And I started to feel out of place. And I feel like I started to go through the motions. And going through the motions, if anybody knows that, in order to do that, you can't do that in your own might. So basically, I kind of found myself self-medicating. I'm like, oh, let's go have drinks because I'd rather have cocktails and pop bottles than really be sober and realize how, how corrupt this industry is. Now, I'm not saying it's limited to the entertainment business, because it's across the board. You can see it in Wall Street. You can see it in, boardrooms all over the world. But that's just not who I am. That's not who I was.
So you talk about the industry and the corruption in the industry. Care to share what some of the corruption that you saw was, or some of the things that made you kind of have that moment where you're like, this is not me anymore?
Well, the thing is, without calling names, but you can read between the lines, there's so many people, for instance, that people that lost their lives. You know what I'm saying? You have people that you see it all the time in Hollywood. People are still and do still self-medicate and will find themselves doing drugs just to get through the day. Feeling like we have to supply the clients with that. I've seen people, come into the studio in order to get the artists to work. They would just supply their drug needs. Or they would, bring in all manners of ungodliness. You know what I'm saying? But what really hurt my feelings, because you get very connected to the people when you're actually working on that side of the business, and you become like family. And, they share stories with you, and you get to really know that people's hearts are not to be the way they are, but they've kind of just crossed over. Yeah. They've kind of accepted that whole not to be too deep, but I don't mind. And if it is what it is. That's just who I am.
We're all adults.
Just like in Matthew when the enemy took Jesus up to tempt him. Everybody doesn't say no. Not that everybody's going to be Jesus, but everybody be like, well, I want my Bentley, and I want my money in the bank, and I want this girl over here, but I want my wife too. And so they fall for the trickery, and then in order to, to be accepted, they just do what they feel like is like the prototype of what needs to be done. Like it's a blueprint that's set that that's just what you do in order to get there. Yeah.
And then I want to take an audience question.
Yeah.
What was there one moment for you? Like, was there one moment where you sat back and said, that's enough?
Yeah, and I'll tell you exactly when it was, and that's when I actually walked away
Okay.
from the industry for a minute. And I'm telling you, that was the first, and I'll tell you the next one that was life-changing moment for me. It was so funny because the guys I was working with, we were actually working with, I think it was LSG and R. Kelly. It was a whole bunch of studio sessions going on. And so I was trying to get to LA because I had come back from New York and the producers and everybody were already in LA. And so I stopped in Atlanta because I had to deal with something here on a personal level, and I had this whole dark feeling come over me. So I ended up almost missing the flight because something was almost like, no, you don't want to go. And I knew I didn't want to go. And I had a connection with one of the guys I was managing at the time, and he was having the same dilemma. It's so funny because to this day, right now, he's actually a pastor in Florida, so he knew he had to get out. But and thriving, you know. So basically, I got on this flight reluctantly, okay? And when I tell you, that's the closest I've ever been probably to, I don't even know what a nervous breakdown is, but I know I had one on that flight. That was the longest flight ever. And really, I was, let me get some wine, let me drink some wine. And the flight attendant had to, because I was just crying profusely. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was just like, what is wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like I was grieving that place. But I'm saying I'm in first class, and I'm just, I'm living a life. I'm doing what people really work hard to attain, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't it. So when I landed, I knew that was going to be the last time I worked on that situation in that capacity. And everything was popping at the time. We had commitments because we accepted advances for deals, and you have to deliver. So, because that's how you get the rest of your money. And of course you want the rest of your money, right? Because my thing is I felt I was doing enough because I was tithing really well in my church for my age. Like, they were even coming back and saying, what you're really doing good. I'm like, you're not supposed to come out from counting the tithe and tell somebody they're doing. But yeah, I felt like, I was paying my dues, but it wasn't. It was something pulling me. It was something calling me back. And I was just like, what is it? And that was just like a war. So I was just like, I'm not going to be the one to fight this anymore, because okay. I'm not.
I think that's a real good place. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some audience questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and click the button to raise your hand, and I'm going to unmute someone's microphone. And there are a ton of questions here, but I want to hear feedback directly from the audience. So go ahead and click the raise your hand button, and I will, let's see here. All right, so this is, I'm going to take, Any, Mini, Mighty, Mo. I'm going to take Shar Wilson. Okay, Shar. Let's see if I can unmute your microphone here. Okay, Shar, it looks like your microphone is muted on your side, Shar. So if you would go ahead and unmute your microphone on your side, you can go ahead with your question. Shar, go ahead and click unmute. 3, 2, all right, we're going to go to someone else. Brittany Riddle. Uh-oh, Brittany went away. Where are you, Brittany? Okay, well, that one's gone too. All right, so we're going to go with Leon Valentine. Hey, Leon, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, Leon, where are you dialing in from?
I am currently in Boston, Massachusetts. I went to school in Atlanta. I went to Clark, Atlanta.
Oh, cool. All right, Leon. Well, before you go, what is your Instagram handle? We want everybody to follow you on Instagram. What is your Instagram?
Okay. My Instagram is Leon_busyworking.
SYWRKING. All right, everybody. I'm going to type this in the chat window. I want everybody to go follow at Leon_busyworking. All right, Leon, go ahead with your question for April.
Hi, Leon. You like a lot on Instagram. I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Well, I guess my question is pretty much like a big question, but I want to get into the entertainment industry, working for like PR, consulting for like artists, up-and-coming artists, or like established artists. But I've kind of had a hard time doing that. So like, how can I kind of like start building my brand to break into the industry, or start working with artists and kind of going into the manager PR side as well?
Okay, first of all, I would say, number one, what do you want to do most? I mean, because that's two distinctly different kind of focuses, management or publicity. What do you feel like based upon your skill set and your innate gifts that you can offer to an up-and-coming artist right now, based on what you've already known, the course of your career?
I can give them more PR advice. I like managing, but it's kind of, I don't want to like be that over controlling over artists, but like I like the PR aspect behind it the most.
Okay. So what you need to do, and how long have you been working in PR?
Well, I just graduated in May, but I've been working in PR since like I started at Clark Atlanta.
Okay. So let me tell you one thing. There is no shortage of artists that need some level of promotion and publicity. But what you have to go after the artists that you can attain. And you got to do your research. You got to start going. Have you been going to showcases? Have you been asking people, hey, do you know, where they have new artist showcases, where new artists are playing, where new artists, kind of just glaze over Instagram and even like check hashtags for new artists or up and coming artists and just reach out to them. Be bold and say, look, these are the artists. Once you do your research, take about a month to kind of figure out like who's doing what, who's connected to who, and you'll be surprised who you know. Because like I said, nobody is unreachable. It's like 6 degrees. So if you put your eyes on an artist, and let's say that artist is making a little noise in the scene, but they don't have a deal or they don't have distribution, but they have a following, and the following that you can tap into, because the artist is busy being an artist, right? So if the artist has 14,000 followers, they need somebody to interact and engage those people. What you have to always do is come to somebody with a solution. So first, identify who you want to go after. Take your time, research, and figure out the best person, the best list of people. And you only need to like garner a couple of those people off your list. Figure out then how you can solve a problem for that person. If you know that person you may have an opportunity for them to perform at Clark, and you can tell that they don't have an opportunity, they don't have that kind of connection. You're already coming into a situation where you're able to solve a problem. So of course that person's going to be drawn to you,
Mhm.
Yeah, so you can't really just say, I want to do it. Go for it. Identify who you want to go after. Pursue them just like I did. I knew I wanted to work with Jermaine or LA or Dallas or whoever, and by any means necessary, I was going to get to the person next to the person to get to that person.
Okay.
Leon, you got it?
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for dialing in tonight. All right, April, we're gonna keep moving with your story.
All right. Thanks, Leon. So this page is not even half of the people that I've been blessed to work with over the course of my career, but these are some key businesses, key brands that I have had the opportunity to service. But prior to going to that, there was a period of time that I want to share really quickly, because like I said, walking away from the industry the way I did, with the amount of money I was making and with the relationships I had built, and finding myself just being stationary and quiet for a while, was, I thought, the worst time of my life, because it was like, as quickly as I said, I'm going to live on purpose, I'm not going to be corrupt, I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity like I've had to do, at points in time to really like maintain my my levels in this business, because there's levels to this business, but you don't always want to be on all the levels. Then I basically turned to God. I turned to my roots. I turned to what I'd known. I got back involved in my church, and I was really like making plans to work in the industry, but I wanted to work in it in a way that I could live with myself. Guess what? People stopped answering my phone calls. People, some of the people that I felt I had really connected to, we became very disconnected. It was like I would page them or call them, and then they would kind of be slow to get back, because it's like, I can't get anything from you right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? So it wasn't a genuine, authentic relationship. But trust and believe that the ones that were real, we're still down to this day. Like I said, for instance, like a Noontime, like Noonie, who started Noontime from California to this day, and he's developing artists like Sierra and August Alsina and Malachi Warren, and he has connected, and we're building these brands together. Because when you have authentic relationships, hang on to them, because there's so many different pits and valleys that your journey is going to take you through in order to make you and not to break you, that you got to make sure that you get rid of the riffraff, shake off the stuff that's not supposed to go with you anyway. So basically, it was almost over a year that I kind of like had to kind of purge. My relationship kind of, started to dwindle. I kind of started living a little bit more conservative. Went from a couple cars to one car. Really got close to my friends that, have been there for me, on the upswing. My real, genuine friends, from school, from high school, from college, and I really had to reinvent myself. And I was like, well, now not only do I know marketing and public relations, but I understand that the social media thing is coming, and I want to be on top of that. And my roots and my studies were in public relations and journalism and that sort of thing. So it was a natural transition to kind of launch my company. And launching my company, was different than working with a label or working with a production company and then doing something, on the side independently. I was genuinely starting a company. Like, I want to incorporate myself and learn the ins and outs of, creating a corporation and building a business for myself. And I had to do that at this moment where I felt like I had been broken. And I was like, okay, but I'm here to tell you that was the most divine intervention of all, because that was the right time. When you are desperate and thirsty for something, that's when you're going to be so passionate about it that by any means necessary you're going to make it work. So I came up with my scope of services, figured out my website, and started to do things for myself and launched the business. Initially, it went from 404 Management to Love Consulting, and then a little bit combination of the both to what it is today, which is Ask April Love. Because people kept asking me, so I'm like, you asking April Love, so that's what it is. I have had the pleasure, oh my God, of working with some amazing people over the course of the past few years since I've launched. I mean, I haven't missed a beat. I had office space the entire time, have worked from the beginning of super brands like Derek Blanks, who was just, so, like I said, he was so passionate, and he knew he was incredibly talented and just needed that route to get out. And he's going to be sharing a lot of his story with us on the summit. And working with people at the onset of their careers, like the whole Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. And I've been working in the reality TV space since the beginning. So I've kind of really built my relationship in there. I'm developing, producing on that side of things, and have really exponentially grown my business to have that area as one of my streams of income. Working with Nene Leakes and actually being credited with casting a lot of the women on some of these shows are men that you may not know about. For instance, like a Cynthia Bailey or Peter Thomas, and the season that she and Phaedra were added to Real Housewives, and Lisa Wu, and all these people, and just being an opportunity to segue them into this world. And working with Polo, and a lot of people with their community initiatives, as you'll see in the frame at the bottom. That huge Thanksgiving carnival that he had, it was a vision. It was, something I was able to actually be a part of and get people involved and get national coverage. I mean, we were covered, everywhere from CNN to MTV. It was amazing. And I actually was, I have to say, and this is a shameless plug, but I was responsible for putting the tag of the celebrity makeup artist, the celebrity photographer, and Derek was the first person I did that with. And I had he and I had started a company, Dream Studios, which was like a manufacturing of dreams for people. And we had music in there, we had makeup, and just the whole gamut of what it would take for an artist to go from start to finish. And so I felt like, okay, you're working with celebrities, and people should know that's who you are. So now it's gone haywire. It's celebrity chefs and celebrity everything. But at the time, it was something that set the people that I was working with apart, because I feel that when I work with a brand, I want the brand to be a super brand. And as long as we can connect and we're a good fit, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go 110% on making you outshine the competition, because that's what I always want to do. So that's just a little bit of it. We'll get more to that at the summit. And who is the perfect candidate for a personal brand? I get that all the time, because people say, I want a publicist, and I always go, why do you need one?
And here, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to jump in real quick. Go ahead and get your notebooks out, because this is where she's going to really start giving you the meat of building a brand. All right? So get your notebooks out, because this is where I started taking notes when I was interviewing April.
All right, so let's go and get to it. The perfect person for a brand, and these are my nuggets, and this is my life experience, my study, my research, and I feel that first of all, you have to be uncomfortable with where you are. There's no reason to reinvent yourself if you're happy. If everything is holistically working in your life, if you are mind, body, and spirit living your best and most fulfilled life, and some people are. Some people are healthy, they are making money, they have a great family, then this is not necessarily for you. But you may know someone on your workplace or somebody in your family that it is for. So make sure that they get connected with us. But it may not be for you. But if you're uncomfortable, and uncomfortable would be if you work a 9 to 5 and then by 1:30 you're counting the minutes down to jump on the highway in all this crazy Atlanta traffic and get home and deal with nothing, you may not be happy with your job. If you have pulled up through the Wells Fargo or the Chase drive-through and you have an amazing financial picture and you draw the money out, no worries, but then you're driving in the Wendy's or you're driving in the Burger King and then you're having indigestion and you're not concerned about that body, that one temple, then this may be for you. And the mind, if you can't get to sleep at night, if you have anxiety, or you feel like, hey, I should be doing more with my life, then this is perfect for you, because it's about mind, body, spirit, holistically. God made us to be a whole person, not a rich person, not a sane person, but not having anywhere to stay or sleeping on somebody's couch. That's not who He made you to be. You're supposed to be whole, and you're supposed to be living abundantly. So this would be for you. Understand your purpose before thinking about a brand. Okay. I don't know. Write down when you were born. Okay? When were you born? Some people were born in the 70s. Are you a 70s baby? Are you an 80s baby? Are you a, 60s baby? You were born January 3rd, 1975. Okay, now, think about that. Think about how God can do anything but fail. He doesn't make mistakes. Everything is strategic. God is strategic. Oh, because He makes enough water, do this. He makes a tree, so we'll have shade for this. He'll make this, so these people can live over here and all this heat. Very, very genius, right? So then why were you born? Were you born to work a job where you're getting, given off mediocrity? Were you born to be in a relationship where you don't feel fulfilled? Were you born to, be financially stable but spiritually dying? Were you born to stay in the same city you've been in all your life and don't travel at all? What is your purpose? Are you here to do what? Are you here to teach small children? Are you here to be an amazing mother and write a cookbook and nurture your grandchildren? Or are you here to, what are you here to do? Are you the next T.D. Jakes? Are you the next, I don't know, farmer at the next farmer's market who can give us some healthy organic food? But you need to get to your purpose, and you need to get to your purpose quickly. Tomorrow's not promised. You're here for a certain amount of time, and you need to be living and fulfilling your purpose. Now, guess what? This is the part that I love, because one of the most joyful things for me to do, and I know that it stretches me, and I've had staff member after staff member saying, hey, you can't necessarily sit down with every person, but every opportunity I can, I will. But if I can't get to you, I want to give you the tools for you to do it for yourself, okay? Self-assessment, because at the end of the day, nobody's behind those closed doors with you but you, okay? Nobody knows if you cheated on the diet. Nobody knows if you cheated on your wife. Nobody knows if you hate this job, you don't like this job. Nobody knows if you used to have a drug problem. You know what I'm saying? You have to do the real self-assessment. You have to have this. Okay, it's this movie called The War Room, and it was a blessing to me. And basically, it's kind of like taking into your war room. Only you and God knows, because God is all-seeing and all-knowing. But you know, too, and sometimes we have a hard time admitting who we are and what we're capable of, the good and the bad. You need to sit down and decide, hey, am I living my best life? Am I making the best choices for me and my family and my future generations? Am I putting amazing food into this temple, this one temple that we're given, this one body we're giving? Are we doing things of integrity? Are we operating in excellence? Are we just getting by? We work real hard when the manager's there, but when the supervisor's not around, then we're half doing what we're doing. We're supposed to be excellent, because guess what? To whom much is given, much is required. What you put out, you receive. It's the law of attraction. It's a Christian principle. It's how people thrive. So you can say what you want to say about a Donald Trump, but he's giving out everything that he's getting back, because he's giving out arrogance, he gives out wealth, and he gets it back because he may not ever be a Christian, or profess Christ or anything else, a Buddhist, whatever he is. But he's practicing universal laws, which you have to tap into as well. So you need to sit back, take a journal, take some time out, 1 hour, 2 hours, just for you. Put the baby to bed or, you know, skip lunch and say, look, let me just go over these questions, which I will give you in this summit, and say, hey, let me be honest for once about myself and where I am today. All right. Now, 3 steps, and okay, this is just a little nugget, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 steps to building a brand, according to me. Okay, through my divine downloads. But one of the most important steps to me, and I'm always going to ask a person that because I want to get past the layers of like Louboutins and weave and, you know, locks and whatever you're trying to give off from an image perspective. And let's just say, hey, does it all match up? Am I being authentic? You know, do I add value to the world? What is my thing? You know, so once you get to the point of like what your purpose is, you have to authentically own that and embrace that and know that that adds value to the world. Don't ever downplay the fact that being a police officer or a first responder or a teacher or an author. And your author, you may be an author that's only writing books for 100 people, but you could change 100 people's lives. Don't you know that's authentically purposeful in this world? It's very important for you to know how valuable you are. It's very important for you to be honest with you first and then the world second, okay? So authenticity is it. I'm authentically and innately gifted to do what? To be a speaker, a teacher, a writer, a pastor, a dancer, you know? You see, you have dancers that hit the stage at the, you know, the ballet and bring people to tears, you know? So it's just like when you're in your authenticity, you're going to always work and get to peak performance. It's when you're out of place that you can't seem to get settled or do your best work. Okay. You have to set yourself apart from the crowd. Okay. I say this a lot, too, and I think I said it to AJ earlier. There is nothing new under the sun, okay? You're not going to cook the best pound cake that's ever been cooked. You're not going to be the best hairstylist that ever existed. You're not going to come up with a better way to really do a weave that's going to, you know, appeal to everybody. You have to set yourself apart from the crowd. But guess what? You don't have to please everybody. What you want to do is outshine enough of the competition in order for you to get to where you need to go. And that's not knocking people out from your left and your right. That's just being you authentically, but at 100% performance. So I'm going to be, and you have to commit to this daily, be the best hairstylist I can possibly be. I'm going to serve the client better than anybody else has ever served them according to me. Now, they may not feel that way, but if you have an intention to do your best work, then it's going to come across. And you're going to have a group of people. You're not going to please everybody. We're not here to please everybody. You know, everybody wasn't happy with Jesus or Gandhi or anybody else, but you're going to please your crowd. But you got to outshine the competition by being authentically you and setting out with an intention of excellence. And this is the part I love the most. You have to build an engaged and loyal set of followers. And what I tend to call them are raving fans, you know. They're the ones that are, you know, checking in on, and it's not lurking. It's okay because we're like people that have these private pages. Don't look at me. Get off social media, okay? Because realistically, you're on there for a reason. It's a social media platform. But some people, you know, you start with the first raving fans should be your parents. They're like, oh, you're gonna be great. Oh, you're gonna do this. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, listen to her play the piano. But you all throughout life, you still want to have that kind of support. You want to have and engage that group of people. When you have a book and you have a book signing, and you have 7 people show up the first time, and then 11 people the next time. Or let's say you plan a church, and the first time your charter members is 10 people, but they come back and they support you, and they're like, I'm just, you know, I'm encouraging you, they're edifying you. Embrace those people. Those people are godsends. You understand? I feel that way about a lot of the interns and assistants that I've had. Not all the time was I able to pay them what, you know, I felt they were worth, but angelically I prayed for them, and I know that they've gone on to do great things, or if they're still involved with me, I know that we'll do great things together. Because at the end of the day, that's your following, that's your tribe. You embrace your tribe. You think any of these people, Obama would be where he is had he not engaged this loyal fan, you know, these fans? You can name anybody, you know, the Cam Newtons. No matter what they say about him, you got people, oh my God, an ideal case study is Beyonce. Try to come for her on her timelines. You got this little beehive of engaged people that she's loyal to, she speaks to, she posts for. They will come hard and they will protect her. So it's all about that brand and getting people to buy into that brand. You know, the people that come loyal to Target or Starbucks, they have really embraced those people. That's how I feel about Whole Foods. You always have the juice that I love when I come. So I'm engaged by you. You offer coupons. You send me things. So we get into that and how to, start this brand, but also have this brand supported by people that matter. One thing to keep in mind to be successful and not get your feelings hurt or wear your heart on your sleeve. No one owes you anything, okay? This industry is 100% built on your hard work. Can you write that down? This industry, and you fill in whatever industry that is for you, because that could be the beauty industry, that could be the literary industry, that could be the health and wellness industry, whatever it is, your little niche, your little island is built on your hard work. Now, if nobody wants to live on that island with you, you can't blame anybody but yourself. But if you take that island to becoming like a metropolis or utopia, that's based on something, and you could say, I did that. I took care of my people. I built a brand that was full of integrity and people can believe in and stand by what I represent. Okay, 99% of people who set out to build brands fail. And why? They don't assess realistically. Now, do we have to go back a few slides? I don't think so. When I say be honest in that assessment, nobody's going to see it but you. Grab that journal and write down, I am overweight because I tell people that I'm dieting and I go to the gym, but I don't. I tell people that I stopped smoking, but I sneak smokes. I tell people that I take care of myself, but I don't. I tell my wife I love her, but I don't show her. You have to assess who you are. What are you really doing? How honest and authentic are you with yourself first? Oh my God, wise counsel. I am a firm believer in mentorship. If you have a circle and you're the smartest person in that circle, leave said circle immediately. You need people around you that have gone through what you've gone through, and I hope for some of the people on the call, I am that person for you, because I've told you that I made some choices that I'm not proud of. I made some choices that put me in harm's way, and I made some choices that I feel like have set me back. But guess what? I see why now, for you and for others and people that have worked with me or around me, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to be a mentor because I've been mentored, and I will be mentored until I leave this world, because I have an amazing woman in my life. I call her Mother Barrett, but when I tell you, when I start feeling like, I'm not practicing what I'm preaching, she doesn't coddle me. She says, look, you can do this. Hey, this is, who does God say you are? You can do you're not here to fail. You better put your chest out and handle your business. And I have people like that throughout different aspects of my life. And they have been godsends to me, and you need to have wise counsel. And don't start a business without the right people in play. You have a business for 5 years and never met with an accountant, and then you wonder why you have tax problems. You have people so many opportunities and resources that you can tap into, like these courses that AJ does, and like the small business administration. I mean, you have classes that are like $49. There's a lot of churches that I've noticed from research from my clients that offer entrepreneurial journeys, courses where they sit and they hand walk you through. You can find somebody that's done everything that you would want to do. Whatever the business is, whatever the thing is, whatever brand you're building, I promise there's somebody out there that has done it, okay? You have to invest in yourself. You have to. I did. I always do. I went to Revolt Conference, and while people were running around partying and I was working, I made sure I attended and heard from the people and gleaned from the people that have got into this tech industry, because I know the tech and the TV and film, digital industries is next for Ask April Love. So why would I not sit under people, multimillionaires, people that have made the investment in themselves, taking risks, and not sit there and soak all that up for what I need to do next? Because I think I've arrived and I got it all together, I got employees? No, because I want to get to level after level, because I am determined to live my best life. And then poor imaging. Visuals are everything. But you know what? But we go back to authenticity. Now, for somebody like a Nene Leakes or these the ladies Candy or the people on Housewives and the reality show, it's important for them, and the whole point of the show and some of these shows, and I hope I'm not telling too much because maybe you all think all these shows are unscripted. Yeah. Basically, you have a role to play. So there are certain things that you want to give a perception of. You can't be a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills and you come out in your robe and you don't give them all the glamour and the glitz. You can't say that, I'm going to be the top celebrity trainer and like a Dahlbeck Quince, and you got a pot belly and you keep eating, sneaking hot dogs when you get home. You got to look the part, because I'm not going to buy into it. You're not going to buy into it. If somebody tries to present themselves and the image does not match up with the authenticity of what they're trying to present to the masses. Yay, books. I will also, AJ, I want to be able to provide everyone with a list of books that have life-changing. They have actually impacted me in amazing ways. Books like this, like I said, The 1 Minute Millionaire, which talks about multiple streams of income. The 4 Agreements really changed my life, and I try to tell every intern that I interacted with over the years that they have to read that, because it's like one of my favorite agreements is to be impeccable with your word, and that's hard to do. I can tell you that's another transparent moment. I'm impeccable. I try to be as impeccable as possible, but sometimes I say, look, I have to be honest with myself and say, look, this is a work in progress. I'm trying to get there on time, I promise. But just being impeccable, just trying to be that, operating in excellence, because guess what? When you put that out, that's what you give back. And I promise you, your life runs so much smoother when you do what you say, or people tell you they're going to do something and actually come through and do it.
So there's one, guys, this is AJ jumping in. The book, Things Fall Apart, that's actually a book by, and this is an error on my part, it's by Pema Chodron. So what I'm going to do is the book is called Things Fall Apart. I'm about to type in the chat window the name, the author of the third book is EMA or IMA, April? P-E-M-A.
P-E-M-A, Chodron.
H-O-D-R-O-N. And the book is called Things Fall Apart.
Yeah, When Things Fall Apart.
Apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the third book. I actually inserted the wrong book cover in here. That is 100% on AJ.
No worries.
So yeah, I just sent it to everybody. The book is called When Things Fall Apart, and someone just had a question. We're going to let April keep going. Keep typing your question, guys. And again, pull out your phones and keep taking pictures. I see everything coming through on Instagram. I love it. Go ahead, April.
Okay. Another, well, I'm going to tell you, I guess I can, I said I had a really life-changing moment that changed the trajectory of my life with that trip to LA and having to walk away from that, that level of success that I felt I had achieved so young. And a second would have to be 2009, and it's Christmas Eve, and well, actually, it was Black Friday when I first went. I actually went in for like I said, I take care of mind, body, and spirit, and I am very, very consistent when it comes to like physicals and things of that nature. And I went in for a routine physical about a month prior to that date, and my OBGYN was like, hey, I'm going to put you in for a battery test, one which was a thyroid scan, and the other was a mammogram. Now, I was not familiar with a mammogram. I know a lot of things, but that aspect I knew what it was for, but I didn't know the intricacies of it. And fast forward, okay, it's that Black Friday, and I'm ready to get shopping, and I go in for radiology appointment. And it's so funny because they actually forgot that I was supposed to get the mammogram. So I went back, and I said, hey, I was supposed to have another test. And they were like, oh, mammogram. They were like, how old are you? You're not 40, right? I was like, no. They were like, did you feel something? I was like, no. They were like, so why do you need a test? I was like, I don't know. I guess I don't. I was like, my OBGYN. They were like, OBGYN? And I was like, yeah. And they were acting like it was a mistake. So anyway, we went ahead, and I just said, something in me was like, go ahead and make this happen. So I took the test. And I thought I'd be in and out because they said it's really quick, and mammograms are pretty quick if all is well. And it was a room full of grandmas. I'll never forget, the room was pink, and it was chilly, and it was like ladies. They were all senior citizens, and me. And so I did the mammogram, and I sat there, and I'm on my phone as usual, But and when I look up about an hour later, all the ladies were gone, and I was still there. So I was just like, okay, what's going on? And the radiologist, they said the radiologist actually, not the nurse anymore, not the tech, wanted to see me. And I was like, okay, this doesn't feel good. But then I went into like, I pray about everything. So I'm like, Lord, just get me out of here. I know it's a mistake or whatever. So she took me to scans, and if you know how X-rays are on the, this on the wall, and you can see everything. And she said, you see this area? And I was like, yeah. She was like, it concerns me. And I was like, why? And she basically said that it was abnormality or whatever, and they wanted biopsy. Okay, once again, another medical term that I'm not completely familiar with. What's biopsy, and can we do it quickly because I got to get to the mall? And basically, she scheduled me for one, and it was, they had to take some of the tissue and run in, and basically, to make a long story short, Christmas Eve of that year, I was officially diagnosed with stage 3 ductal carcinoma, estrogen receptor positive breast cancer, and mind you, that was the year that I was really launching Ask April Love. I was rebranded. I was sitting and having a meeting, the whole plan. That's when Kasim was coming into office again. I mean, it was just a lot going on. Okay, so it was going to be an amazing year for me, and I had strategically set it up like that. But how many know? Your plans always makes God giggle. Okay, so needless to say, I was diagnosed, and I began I was in denial first because I had to come to terms with the fact that this was my, I don't know, the hand I was dealt. This was the next step in my journey, and I began a battery of treatments that moved into the spring of that year, and I but it was so life-changing, and it's something that I'll share, in the future, and the summit and things of that nature. But I basically, it was a gift for a certain extent, because at the end of the day, like I said, it changed the trajectory of my life, and it made me be authentically honest with me and the decisions I was making, and it opened me up to the world of mind, body, and spirit, and my absolutely and divine purposeful calling for being here. So now I realize not only was I here, but I was here to not only do the work, but to experience the work, come out of the work, and be changed forever in order to be a vessel to be used for others. So I'll say the journey was tumultuous. I mean, nobody really ever, like they say, you can't explain childbirth, you cannot explain chemotherapy and the effects that it has on your body, but I have worked diligently. I've, did the radiation and surgeries, and I've come to a place where I've transitioned completely into a life of holistic change, and eventually will be a full-on vegan, but not right now. Like I said, work in progress, but I'm making better choices, and I feel like I have been set up for a super come-up, and even being online with you guys tonight shows me that I'm on purpose, because I put this on my vision board the year I got sick, and I said, hey. And next thing I know, I started seeing Super Soul Sunday and this whole awakening of wellness and better choices and taking care of your mind, your body, and spirit. And I said, hey, I'm right on track. So, I know I can't succumb to this illness. I got work to do. And that's what I plan to do.
Love it. All right, so real quick, April, I want to read some feedback because we're getting so much feedback. This is coming from Alina Taylor Backer. She said, I'm so encouraged each time I hear April speak.
I love her.
She said, I've had the pleasure and blessing of just listening and speaking briefly. April is such a blessing to so many people. She says she's glad you're still here. Always loves to see people like you live your dreams. She loves what you were doing, and she loves you, and she's in tears right now.
Oh,
so that's very touching.
Bless you.
Again, well, let's go into the next slide. I want to go ahead and get some audience questions. So really quickly, guys, go ahead and type in the chat window. Has this been helpful for you guys so far? We just want to do a temperature check. We have about another 10 to 15 more minutes. Then we're going to let you guys have your evening back after April gives you guys this amazing offer. If this has been helpful, go ahead and type yes in the chat window. I want you to go a step further. I want you to tell me how this has been helpful to you. Just type, and thanks, guys. We have Charlene and Kelly and Flo and Brent. This is Success Talk. April, you sound like a champion. That's what Brent's saying. This has been very helpful. Leon says, absolutely yes. Flo is saying she loves you.
Love you too,
Derek
guys.
is saying this has been extremely helpful. Okay, guys. Let's see here. What do we have here next? Okay, so guys, just type one thing that you've learned tonight. What is one thing that you have learned tonight on this training with April? Just type it in the chat. Well, I just want to share some of the things that they're saying with you, April.
Thank you.
And guys, April can't see the screen. I'm on
No,
producer side here. Let's see. Bashona says this is a confirmation from what she's heard from Steve Harvey and from Lisa Nichols' conference.
Oh my God, I love Lisa Nichols.
love Lisa
Thank you
Nichols,
so
too.
much for saying that.
Flo says the whole part about being authentic. Stephanie says it's extremely helpful and encouraging. She's at a point of starting a life that's in. She's an empty nester and she's getting ready to start over. Cool.
Awesome.
Elena says getting wise counsel and mentorship. Derek says be honest with yourself. Fatima says don't assess unrealistically. And she said it hit her like a ton of bricks. How to overcome your environment. Sierra Hillsman says that.
Hey, Sierra.
Sierra. Let's see. Definitely a confirmation. Shar. Okay.
Okay.
You need to re-examine his business, to walk boldly and in her purpose. That's Kima Golden.
Thank you.
Now, guys, are these things that April said so far, are these things that you can actually take away from tonight, from this free training? Are there things that you learned tonight that you can implement in your business right now? And if they are, okay, yes, that's Angie Scott. Hey, Angie. Dominique Lewis says absolutely. Fatima says absolutely. Kelly says yes. Yes, absolutely, from Brent. All right, and April, this is your favorite quote.
Yes, it is. At the end of the day, it's all about the mind. It all starts with the right state of mind, and like Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinketh and as she thinketh in their heart, so is she or he." Because can you not visualize it? Can you not believe it or see it? It will not come to pass. But trust and believe, as surely as I am here still today, that if you can see it, it will come to pass.
Absolutely. All right, so guys, the last bit of feedback that we're going to get. So just type in the window, because I'm going to read this to April, and I'm going to read it to everybody else. This is you putting it out into the atmosphere. What is the one thing that you learned tonight that you're going to try to implement in your business right now, starting tomorrow? Like, make a commitment.
Yay.
This is the one thing that you plan on doing tomorrow. All right, so let's see. Building the proper team. Dominique says building the proper team. Okay. Fatima says set realistic goals. Cherie, it looks like Cherie says she wants to stand out. Charlene says don't just be in the room, work the room.
Yes.
Brent says be a person of excellence in everything you do. Lena says seek wise counsel and accept mentorship. Stephanie says assess her purpose. Wow, we're still coming. Steven says restructuring, obtaining more counseling. Kelly says getting in front of people that she thinks alike. Jesus, be authentic from Elena. It's coming fast. Give your customers everything. Wow, I can't.
Ah, it's awesome.
It's coming in too fast. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys.
I love it.
I'm going to unmute somebody really quickly, and I just want you to share. Look at that. I can't even read it. Look, I'm scrolling up all this. This has definitely been, look, you've been through. Sandra is so encouraging with one of my visions, but as they all well know,
you're doing your purpose that when the devil tries to discourage you, yes.
Sandra reconnecting me again, and definitely hearing your voice was my kickstart. To renew, restore, and trust God to remove these things that are not loyal or support my vision. That's from
Awesome.
H.C. Hardy.
Thank you so much.
As a stylist, being sure my visual images matches my brand.
Absolutely.
Derek Yellott says read the 1 Minute Millionaire. Elena says everything.
Elena.
Mashona says enlarge my circle and get in the right room.
Yes.
Cherie says remember no one owes her anything. Flo says work harder and staying focused. Char Wilson says invest in herself. Wow. Take time to write the vision.
Hey, Jadarian.
Jadarian.
Feel better, Flo.
Give your customers something to look forward to. Crystal, be authentic. Elena, Kima says stop talking about it and be about it. Just do it. Kelly says getting in front of the people that she fears. Steven says restructuring and obtaining more counseling. Assessing Your Purpose, Stephanie. Seeking Wise Counsel. I'm telling you, it just goes
Awesome.
on,
That's
and
so
I can't even
encouraging.
scroll and read it fast
I
enough.
see.
So, all right, so we're going to go.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. So let's see. So April, I think the next thing you want to do is just share exactly why you did this. So again, guys, I've been doing these webinar trainings. I've been really blessed to meet some amazing people, and it just keeps getting better and better. And so many people I'm seeing now have experienced so many things, and they want to give back. They want to share. So April, right now, she's going to share with you why she decided to do this training.
Why did I create this training? Basically, it was inevitable. It's my purpose. It's what I'm called to do. I love to empower people. I love having people that I've worked with over the years come back and tell me how well they're doing, or I can look and see, that their visions are coming to pass. They have happy homes and happy lives, and are launching amazing brands and businesses. I just love that. That encourages me and keeps me going. Like I said, I love people. Because I travel, I love meeting people from different walks of life with different life experiences. I love sharing stories, I love hearing stories, and I love being in a position that we can encourage one another, because you may have experienced something that's going to be a blessing to me that you share with me, and vice versa, so I love that. I want to help people find success faster. Like I said, I feel like a lot of us go through what we've gone through and are not so quick to share from guilt or shame. I don't want that to be the case, because at the end of the day, there's no reason to feel that way about anything that you've gone through, because all of it's been, you can never forsake the journey. You go through the journey for a reason, and it will all come to pass, and you'll realize it along the way, but you are there for a reason. It's not just about you. It's about somebody else that you may impact later on.
All right, guys, so here's this is the culmination of everything that April and I have been working on for the past, I guess, 8 weeks?
Yes.
8 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a brand new you. So we talked about tonight, this is going to be a one-day, all-day summit. It's going to go from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening.
5.
5 o'clock.
Yes.
So here's what April has done, and we're going to go through this, and I'm going to read some of it, and then April's going to add feedback based on who the celebrity teachers or instructors that she chose, and why she chose those celebrity instructors to be a part of this training. All right.
Okay.
So real quick before we go to the next slide, are you guys ready to learn more about this brand new you training one-day summit? Jesus Christ, more people are still joining. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you're ready to hear more about the training, go ahead and type yes in the chat window. If you're ready to take your brand to the next level, if you're ready to take action, invest in yourself, say take action. Just like I'm ready to take action in the chat window. I'm ready to take action. Absolutely. RH, everybody says yes, yes. I'm ready to take action. I'm ready to go. All right, April. So let's go ahead and go. Let's go to the training.
Okay.
All right. So here's a brand new you. It's going to be all-day summit. It's going to have 6, I believe, 5 or 6 workshops. So workshop number 1, as you guys can see on the screen, this is April. She's going to be talking about.
Okay, so I'm going to open up, there's some really key components that I want to share with you, and there'll be modules. What is personal branding? Because sometimes people just don't know what that is and what that encompasses, especially the way I teach it, because I take it from a perspective that is not superficial, that is mind, is body, and spirit. Because your personal brand is everything about you, everything that allows you to sleep peacefully at night and wake up and be so full of passion and hunger to make that day happen. The goal for personal branding, how to craft your personal brand, and the vision, your vision. We will have a clear, concise vision by the time you finish this training.
And that's just the first workshop.
That's just one. That's just one. Then I have my amazing, like I said, wise counsel. Lisa Washington has been a very intricate person, and she came into my life when I was in the midst of my illness. And it's so amazing. Like I said, you cannot forsake your journey, because she's a kidney transplant survivor. And guess what? Her husband was her donor. So her story was amazing, and it encouraged me so much because I saw her on the other side, and I saw her, you know, having succumbed to renal failure and having dialysis, and basically just being a single mom and overcoming all of these things to become this holistic. She's featured on the Food Network right now as a chef. She's a yoga instructor. She encouraged me, and that's why I became like a certified nutritional health coach, which I went to school for as well, and being fully rounded. So she'll talk to you about creating and cultivating a care mindset, because if you don't care about people, it's going to be very hard for you to serve authentically in this world, living authentically every day. And that's not always, because you have good days and you have bad days. So how do you get through them? How do you stay encouraged all week long? We'll talk about that. Her personal story of triumph is going to bless you immensely. So we'll talk about that. We'll tap into that, because if you know, life is going to throw you darts. You know, I've heard so many stories with people I've met and have amassed everything from being homeless and being burnt out, or losing a child, or being robbed. So it's so many things that life can put in your way to kind of get you off or to discourage you, but you can always get through. Okay? And setting a unique standard for excellence. Your standard of excellence, it needs to be your own creed that you live by, that you say, look, this is not what I'm willing to do. This is excellence on my part. I will do this. I will do that. And that goes kind of back to the 4 agreements. So we'll get into that.
All right. So far, we have Module 1, that's going to be April. Module 2 is going to be Lisa and April. Tell them about Module 3.
All right, Module 3, we're going to get right. Satchel and I have been working together for a very long time, and I've worked with him on his brand, and to me, he's an amazing brand that's still blooming. He is a lifestyle specialist, and what that means is he really taps into and observes people's lifestyles. That's what he writes about. He's a lifestyle editor for Upscale and Uptown, and has interacted with people all over the globe. So he has a lot of insight on your professional purpose and getting people to buy into the authenticity of who you are. Like, he can look at you, and that's a gift, and say, look, this will be better. Why not do it this way? I even bring him in on some media training sessions, because we want you to speak well. We want you to articulate your vision. We want you to be comfortable in your professional stance when you launch your brand. Position yourself for opportunities. Again, being in the right room and doing what you need to be doing in that room, because guess what? Sometimes time is way more valuable than money. You can't get that time back. I may be able, make a couple more dollars back, but you'll never give me my last Tuesday at 5 o'clock back. So I don't want to waste time. We want to be in a position to win. Rebranding throughout your life, because he'll have stories to share with you as well, just like I did, the reinvention. You'll get to this fork in the road and say, well, hey, there's another level to me, so I can't be here anymore. I can't be doing this anymore, and we'll tap into that. And the perfect pitch, because so many times people are in the position to put themselves out there but don't know how to do it. Like, you got about 60 seconds sometimes to sell somebody on something that could change the trajectory of your life. And you can get something placed in an Uptown magazine that somebody will see in London and offer you an opportunity. It could be your clothing line. And next thing you know, that you're on a runway in Paris. But if you don't ever pitch it and you don't know how to get people to buy into what you're doing, the world won't see it. It'll just be about you and your personal dreams.
All right, so far we have 3 different modules. Module 1 is just April. And I want you guys to interact right now. I want you to go ahead and type Satchel and Lisa. Just type it in the chat window. So we have Lisa in Module 2. We have Satchel in Module 3. April, go ahead and tell them about Module number 4.
Like I shared with you earlier about Derek Blanks, and having worked with him from the beginning of his career to where he is now as his full-on working, like, he works so much, and we're actually in the same shared space now. He just finished a video. He's directing. He shot for everybody. He shot for Essence. He shot everybody you can think of, from Angela Bassett to Sanaa Lathan. Just did the video for T.I., for Tweed, for Mary Mary. I mean, his work is just like impeccable, and people are lining up to get to it, because guess what? He realized who his audience was and how to get them to buy in. And operating in excellence, because I don't know a lot of people that can shoot as well as he does. Your image across all digital platforms. He's worked with so many people, business people, artists, entertainers, and we know what works. We know, like, hey, that suit is not going to work. Guess what? Steve Harvey needed to take that hair off eventually, and it works for him. And his whole life, he has a whole second career. He looks amazing. His wife is building her brand. So you got to know what works for you from an image perspective and what people are going to believe, And know the image you want to project. Don't let somebody just tell you you should be wearing Louboutins. I'm not wearing them. I'm clumsy, first of all, so I don't wear 6-inch heels. I'm just not doing it. So I got to know what works for me no matter what you're telling me. I can get to where I need to go, but I need to do it authentically to me and my brand. Your headshot. Why is it so important? How many times do I work with people and they don't have a bio and they don't have a headshot? And they say, hey, I want a publicist. No, you want some basic fundamentals first. You want your bio written. You want to have a decent website or online portfolio, and you want to have a headshot that represents who you are. Because if you're trying to sell yourself to the next whatever film that's coming in time, it could be a next family fun film, and you look like an Instagram model, that's not the image that you're trying to put across. So we'll tap into that, presenting the right image even in photos. And then your look, your image, the basics, what works for you, how to have this, that, and let it be consistent across the board. If you could be a hippie chick, but I don't want to have you that, and then you're Kim Kardashian next Friday. Like I was able to really get into the meat of that working in the industry, because I remember one time with Monica, we were working with her, and it was a drastic change. They wanted to make her seem a bit older, and she was such a cute, innocent church girl, and they cut all her hair off like T-Boz from TLC. And when I say she could not sell it, we had to damage the girl's hair, and I was just like, I knew it from the beginning. That just was not going to work for her. It was manufactured, and she didn't know how to sell it. So it's important to know the basics of your look and the image you want to present.
All right, so far we have Satchel, Derek, Lisa. What's next?
Tahira, I have totally been a fan. Like I said, you have Raven fans, and I have seen her work, and she was one of my PR colleagues, and she reinvented herself. She's put herself in the position to be a real influencer. She's launched this amazing, it's like 1 million people now, I think, following The Cut Life, and she's really branded herself. It's very appropriate for her to have the company branded PR, because she definitely branded herself and set herself up to win. She's gone on to really maximize and understand her look and her image. And so we'll talk about that, being mindful that the brand is not all about you. That her brand is really built on the masses of women that are in that hair industry. Hairstylists are like, she are her Raven fans. I know stylists that love her. Like they just can't wait to get something posted or for her to recognize them. And so now beauty clients have started to tap in and make a correspondence and offer her opinions and give sponsorships and that sort of thing. So she'll share her story. And the art of reinvention, because that is strategic, and it's an art to doing that, to stepping back and doing a self-assessment of where I am, where I was, and where I want to go. And how to develop your personal brand strategy, because once the brand's in place, you need a marketing strategy to sell it to the masses. So we'll talk about how to get people to buy into that.
And last but not least, one of my dear friends and my very own stylist, I have watched her grow her brick and mortar business, okay? And when people act like the brick and mortar businesses are like a thing of the past, into a thriving business where she's in demand. She's not even taking clients anymore until probably the summer. And when I tell you she's outshining the competition, she's outshining the competition because she operates in excellence, okay? She is very, very anal about what work she does, and she's really tapped into what she does well. Not only does she do weaves, but she do them a certain way. But then she's also very gifted when it comes to cutting, and very gifted when it comes to allowing people to kind of see what she does. She really utilizes social media, and we'll talk about that, and you can see it across all platforms. Like we'll talk about what she's doing from a case study perspective, but how it can, whatever you're doing, if you're launching the next something or next, soy candles or whatever you're going to launch, there are ways to get people to buy into it on social media. So we'll tap into that and realize what's the best platform. You can't stretch yourself too thin if you've already blown yourself up. You're in demand. I can't be over here on Pinterest and Instagram and Twitter and if Instagram works for me, let me work Instagram like nobody's business. If Facebook works for me, let me work it to my best ability until I can eventually get somebody else like an Escape Pula to come in and handle the other platforms for you. And how she started her business from scratch. And really it's been a blessing to her and her family. She's a mom of 3. She has a husband who's also an entrepreneur. So we'll talk about that work-life balance as well. All right. Now, before we go on to the next slide, quick question for the audience. So which instructor are you most excited to hear from It can be more than one. I know it's April. We already know
Yay!
it's by
I
default.
hope so.
But we want you to type in right now. Who are you most excited to hear from? If I can blow this up so you can see it, April. Satchel, Lisa, Derek, Lisa, Satchel, Derek, Lisa, Satchel, Chantel. Everybody. Derek, Lisa, and Chantel. All right. Cool, cool. Everyone. HC says Derek. Derek and Tahira. Steven says Tahira, Lisa, Satchel. Who else? Kim Kima says Derek. All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. So again, this has been 8 weeks worth of planning. So go ahead and go to the next slide, April. All right, guys. So Brand New You, it's a one-day summit, 6 workshops, 5 celebrity instructors. Total value, again, we said initially we're going to do, $399, and then we kicked it around a little bit, and April said, well, no, we can't do $399, but we can do a regular price at $199. But then April said just for, tonight, the people that were on the first training, go ahead and go to the next slide so we can show them what it is.
Yay!
$39 until midnight tonight.
Right.
So $39. Now, I had a little typo here, so here's what I'm going to do. I just typed in the chat window the website that you can go to get the class until midnight tonight for $39. So go ahead right now and go to buynowAbrandnewyoucourse. Go ahead to the next slide, April. Brandnewyoucourse.com. Now, if you notice on here, I just have a buy.abrandnewyou, but I've typed it in the chat window. It is buynowAbrandnewyoucourse, COURSE.com. Go ahead. I think what
It's
time?
buy or buy now?
Buy now.
Oh, buy now.
Buy now. I typed it in the chat window so they can see it.
Okay, great.
All right. Now, can you guys see in the chat window where I just said buy now .abrandnewyoucourse.com? If you guys can see that, you guys can see it. Yes, buy now .abrandnewyoucourse.com. Again, this is for $39 tonight. You get April, you get Lisa, Satchel, Derek, Tahira, Chantel, full day, 10 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock. Not only that, but it's also going to be a Q&A session with each one of the instructors, right?
Exactly.
So, tonight there was no way we could get everybody on. Well, this is going to be an all-day summit. The date of the summit is March 5th. It's Saturday, March 5th. It is an all-day summit, and they are online. So the benefit of that is you can be on your laptop, you can be in your car, on your iPhone, on your Android phone. You can be at a friend's house. All y'all get together, like whatever. You can have a watch party. I've seen people do that. It's all going to be online. Not only that, but you get all the recordings, right? So you can go back and you can go watch them again, all right? So, again, this is lifetime access. You get all the recordings to all the trainings. Buy now. I'm going to type it in again. Now, are there any questions that you guys may have? Any questions? Alina, welcome aboard, Alina. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Alina. Here's a question. Hi, April. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and unmute some of your microphones. So now is the time. We have about 15 more minutes. And then y'all have to let April eventually go to sleep. So I'm going to, let's see, who has their hands up? Looks like Diana Galloway. Hey, Diana. Hey, Diana? Diana? Okay. Let's see.
Oh, she's
I'm sorry, she was just so. Hey, Diana, are you there?
Miss Dinah.
Diana?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, April. This is Shauna's son. She had to run. She stayed busy on her phone.
Oh, hey, Sean.
But I'm gonna use my chance to ask a question. There.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you. Coming from the PR thing, what are the trends in just basically social media we need to look for to advertise and brand ourselves?
Okay, there's some really cool trends. Oh, AJ can answer this too. But let me tell you the ones that we've really tapped into. It's really understanding the Facebook ad and the Instagram ads and being able to use them strategically, but also being able to communicate with a targeted mission. Because sometimes people just post to be posting. And that's fine if you're talking about your personal life, but at the end of the day, if it's a brand, you have to be strategic. You need to schedule posts. You need to make sure that you are utilizing, because really you save a lot of money in advertising. Because we use promo code. There's ways, that's a really cool trend that they're starting to create a lot of like technology to link up your social media and even things like the webinar to your actual website. So then that can draw traffic, and then you got people on all your platforms. Oh, you're checking for me on Facebook, you're checking for me on Instagram, you're checking for me on my website, and then I'm able to measure my analytics and see, okay, Facebook is where they really are coming to. Oh, they really like my website. And then you can measure it with email marketing, even with the email marketing that we use. I really like Constant Contact and Infusionsoft because they engage well with social, and they give you analytics. I mean, you're able to incorporate these promo codes and create advertising campaigns at a minimal budget. You can say, well, look, my budget for marketing, advertising from social and digital for this month is $300. So I want to spend $50 over here with creating graphics. I want to spend $50 on Facebook ads. I want to spend $50 on Instagram ads. Then I want to do a launch. And we'll talk about that. I'll definitely talk about that in my portion of the presentation about doing a launch. Because when you are producing a brand, you need product. You need something that's going to incentivize people to buy in and keep coming back. If you only offer me one thing, like if I went to Whole Foods and the only thing they had was coconut water, would I come back? No.
Right.
So you will talk about how to really pace yourself and scale, and you can do it all online. That is a growing trend. You don't even have to have anything other than an online presence. And then once you have a demand and a raving fan, then you create an e-commerce business and you have a store online. So.
Right, and I think if you guys just look at the model that April has, right? She's built her brand through blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes.
And now she's offering products based on what she knows, right? So the course that you guys are taking, for those of you who opt to go further at this, again, I think this is still $39. Like, you can't even go to the movies, two people, and get popcorn for $39 at Atlantic Station,
Not
right,
at all.
if you're in Atlanta. So because she has so much experience, she's creating a course based solely on experience and relationships, and she can add so much value that it's going to help everybody. But she understands that her audience is all over the country, right? So what better way to reach all over the country than through social media and
Right.
to offer an online course? So I think a big part of it is understanding where your audience is and then figuring out what you can create that go meet them where they are.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we have another question. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Diana.
Sean. Yes.
Sean, okay. All right. Go ahead and raise your hands. Welcome aboard. Welcome. I see a lot of people. If you're in, go ahead and type "I'm in" the chat window. I see 2, 3, but we have a couple people in. All right. Let's see. I see Anisha Sudu has her hand up. Anisha. Let's see. Anisha, looks like your microphone is muted on your side, Anisha. And guys, if you have your hand up and I unmute your microphone, just go ahead and unmute it. All right. Hey, Anisha, are you there?
Hi, yes. How are you? Good night, April. Good night. How are you?
How are you?
Hey. And where are you calling?
I'm good. I'm
you
here
calling?
in Georgia. I'm here in Georgia. Yes.
Mhm.
Gwinnett.
Yes, I am in Gwinnett. So basically, I've been listening in, and I've been so much, and I just want to thank you, April, for being a blessing and sharing your wisdom and motivation and inspiration with us.
Thank you.
And basically, my that I typed before will come right after this one. I basically would like to know your thoughts on me being an aspiring actress with experience. I've been pursuing this for about 16 years, and I've been doing it without representation, and it's been very difficult, but I'm still pressing through. Right now, the only platform that I'm able to use to showcase my skills are basically social media, like Instagram, and I do dub smashes just to showcase my acting abilities and skills. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I'm an advocate for that because, I mean, producers and casting agents are online. Are you using the proper hashtags as it relates?
That's the thing. I basically used the standard dub smash. Like what I did was I like went through other viewers who, you know, do dub smash videos, and I just got a feel of what they were using. So it would be like dub smash or like, you know, post of the day or Dub Nation. And basically I'm also incorporating casting and, you know, set life. I'm looking at other actresses as well to see what they're using, or, you know, maybe casting directors. But like I said, I'm not sure how I'm able to reach the right audience, you know, or that right person to give me an opportunity. And it's kind of difficult, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, another thing is, why have you opted not to have representation? Or is that not an option?
It's not my, it's not, yeah, it's really not. Like, I was fortunate enough to go to California for 6 weeks and gain representation out there within that period, but I had to come back to Atlanta, and they did not want to represent me being here and them there. Yeah, and like I said, you know, it's not by choice at all. I mean, I was represented briefly by an agency when I first got here 4 years ago, but it wasn't, like they weren't really doing much. And I'm that go-getter. Like I wanna go on auditions. Like, you know, even if I don't book it, I want to be productive. I want to know that I'm doing something. And they were just very slow, like very slow. And I don't know. I heard that the agencies here, it's like about who you know. And I think that that's what basically is the issue for me.
To a certain extent, but if you go in and you get some sides and you go to a go-see and you blow them away, they're going to sign you because there's tons of opportunities here, you know. Have you connected even with the casting directors? Sometimes when you take on jobs as an extra, like with George Pierre's and people like that.
Yeah, I've worked. Yeah, I've done. Like I said, I've been doing this for 16 years, and I have done tons of extra work. Like I've been working out here in Georgia since 2010, and I have worked with George Pierre on quite a few projects. And you know, it's just like I said, it's I don't know. It's very difficult. It is, but you know, I could work a 9 to 5, but it's just a passion.
We're not going to say that. First of all, we're going to, what I said before, we're going to visualize that it's not going to be difficult anymore. We're going to say that it was difficult in the past, but from henceforth and forevermore, it's going to be smooth because the right people are going to come into the room.
I received that. Yes, yeah. I received that.
That's the first thing. You have to visualize yourself, and you need to make a short list of people that you want to connect with. Now, it's a lot of this stuff is readily available online, and then we have an entertainment and film TV office. We have as well as the governor's office. So it's a lot of resources, and we know each other personally. So if you email me, I'll send you some links. But there's some things for you to be at. You need to be at certain events, and you need to be in the room talking to the people. Don't talk. Even if you have to go by yourself, because we're tempted to talk to the people we came with. We bring people with us, but go in there with a good effort to meet. Michael Sterling is going to be here. I need to meet Michael Sterling. This person is going to be here. I need to meet that person.
Yes, and I have been networking as much as I can, and it's more so of like, you know, I'll either get the connection, get the number, but people have lives and they're busy, you know, so I'll reach out, and I don't want to be too overbearing, and I think that was the issue for me. Like, I don't want to be too overbearing or constantly asking them, like, you know, like, when can we meet, or what happened to that opportunity, you know. It's difficult when you are dealing with busy people, you know, with demanding schedules.
If you set your target list for about 2025, you only need 3 or 4 not to be busy.
Yeah.
You better know that they're busy. If you are targeting them, busy. But there are ways to connect with them. You just got to get to the events where they're social. Like, you can't talk to them when they're in the office because they're dealing with people. Really, they're not going to be probably checking the hashtags. The people that are going to be checking that are like people that are looking for like extras and or to interact, or even people with independent projects and things of that nature that don't really have a budget. But people with budgets, no, they're expecting to hear from your agent or your casting person.
Is this
exactly? Yes.
Some of this in the training, like some of these tactics.
Some of them, they won't be very. They won't be specifically industry specific, but no matter what you do, you'll be able to, because when it's like getting to that right room and setting a target list of people and then how you should follow up, that's going to be able to be used across the the board.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much, Anisha. We have a few more hands about. Let's see. Flo. It looks like Flo still has her hand up. Hey, Flo, if you're there, go ahead and unmute your microphone on your side. Flo, are you there? Looks like okay, she's not.
Okay.
She's not there. Let's see. Cherie Hemphill. Cherie Hemphill, go ahead if you're there. Cherie? Let's see. All right. Flo said she didn't have a question. Cherie, do you have a question? She said sorry. Oh, sorry, she didn't have a question. All right. Looks like that's it. All right, guys. So one last time, just again, everybody that is in the course, we really look forward to seeing you Saturday, April 5th. That is, March 5th. Sorry, that's next Saturday. Not this coming Saturday.
Not this coming Saturday, no, the next Saturday.
All right. So again, guys, you get all access. You get your Q&A session live. You get all the recordings. I'm going to go ahead.
And some downloadables, right?
Yes, we're going to have downloadable PDFs. We're going to have everything that you guys need to make this happen. So again, 5 more minutes. We have time for probably 2 questions. So go ahead and get your hands in the air. And I'll tell you what, April, I'm going to go back to some of the early questions.
Okay.
All right. I'm a new entrepreneur. I don't have PR or money for PR. How can they grow their brand business until they can afford to work with someone such as you? They don't have money right now and they can't afford it. So what do they need to do individually?
Research, research, research. And then also networking. You have a lot of PR students that want to really get their hands dirty and they want to work with you because they need stuff for their portfolio. So it's important that everybody seeks out opportunities to interact and meet those people, like you said, where they are. So if there's a mixer, an entertainment mixer, and you get there, you find out and you want a publicist, you need to say, well, who works in PR here? Or even go back to the thing where I said the 6 degrees of separation. You never know who's in your circle. You know what I'm saying? Utilize social media. Say, hey, I'm looking for a publicist that will work with a new and upcoming da-da-da or a newly established business. Because sometimes, depending what your business is, let's say your business was fashion styling or whatever, you could barter. A publicist is trying to get on and trying to impress another publicist or a PR firm. They need somebody maybe to talk to them about their imaging. You know, think about low-hanging fruit. Think about what you offer, because if you have a brand, there's something that you're in the universe for, there's something that you are purposely here for too, and it has value. So find the publicist or find the person that you need that it has value to, and you guys work in tandem together. And then there's a lot of practical things that you can do. Sometimes, even with my business, I offer consultation. You may not be able to hire me on retainer, but that doesn't mean you can't come in here, pick my brain, and we create a plan that you go and execute, you know. And social media is free.
Social media is free.
Social media is free.
Entire audience.
Yeah, or very minimal when it comes to budgeting. You can have an email marketing campaign to really tap into your database, like a constant contact, or for $50 a month. And so if somebody has been your patron, let's say you opened, I don't know, a little nail salon or whatever, and you've had 20 consistent people, you need to be tapping into this person, keeping up with that quantified data. They come every Saturday. So I need to incentivize them and say, hey, your 5th one is going to be, you got to engage until you grow. You got to make sure that people are being taken care of. Like I said, you got to take care of those raving fans, those people that are there to support you. Because if you have a brand and you're building a brand, I promise you there's at least somebody, if it's a viable brand, that believes in you already.
Love it, love it. One last question we're going to take. All right, guys, go ahead now. If you haven't already, everybody that has joined, welcome. We're really excited. If you haven't joined now, go ahead over to Buy Now.
Thank you all, too. Thank you so much.
Everybody has joined. Let's see. Here's one. I'm a celebrity stylist.
Yay.
I have styled some great projects, Grammys included. How do you find a consistent client roster?
You know what? That goes back to you give out. What you're giving, you receive. Are you consistent as a stylist? Are you doing this full time? You have to treat it exactly like you want it to come back to you. If you're a consistent person and you're always in the position for that person to, and sometimes you have to also identify who your target audience is. You don't want somebody who's, lukewarm. I've seen somebody like Jay Bolin, who's really identified, the gospel arena. So he's like, well, let me find ways to identify who my clientele is, So it's not all across the board, that you're consistent in who you go after. This is your market. I can keep posting about it. Then when you get this roster, maybe the first one will be like 2 key. If you got Grammy award-winning people, you definitely want people in the city that you're in, unless you're in the position that they're going to fly you around. I don't know the caliber of the level that this stylist is at. Then you also want to make sure that you're catering to them. I heard a lot of from the brand side of talent that have been very disgruntled by stylists or makeup artists or hair people that are not available, because they're trying to be popping and not remembering who put you on, per se. Like, if this first round of clientele is the ones that actually, were buying into you and believing you and putting you in a position to win, you don't need to let somebody else come on the tail end. I don't care how big they are, per se. You need to weigh that and assess that and see if I should leave this group of people, like people that have, like for instance with Chantel with the salon. She has tons of consistent clients, So if somebody comes along like I don't know, somebody's on television, is it worth leaving all your people? And then when that person's like, their TV show goes dark, or they're not recording an album, then you come back to an empty salon because you forgot about the people that actually were the lifeblood of your business. So you need to be just as consistent in servicing and embracing and taking care of those people, no matter how small they are right now. It might be only 3, because that 3 could be all the 3 that you need. I mean, imagine the people that are taking care of Beyonce. Do they need anybody else right now?
Right.
So, and then that puts you in a position to also scale your business, because you don't want to be a stylist forever. Either you want to design, or you want to have a clothing line, or you want to have a store, or whatever. So you also have multiple streams of income, and you're not just relying on a human being to be your source of income.
Love it. All right, so I don't see any more questions.
Okay, that's great.
All right, guys. April, you have really given. So first of all, everybody is still on. We still have a lot of people.
I see. I thought they would have clocked out, went to bed or
guys,
something.
Could you guys join me in giving April a huge round of applause, because she has really gone above and beyond. Wait, one more question.
Who's that? I want to answer them all, because you know what, you guys have made me feel better. I was sick.
You want to keep going?
Well, now I don't want to hold everybody else up, but I will take one more.
Okay.
But and you can definitely hit me up. I will stay live on Instagram.
You're gonna stay live on Instagram. Okay.
So.
All right. So here's some more. And okay. Keep the questions coming. I have a close connection with an NFL player. How can I help this player launch his brand that will work for him now and after his career is over? That question is coming from Stephanie. And I'll tell you what, Stephanie, you know what, I read the question. Go ahead and raise your hand. I'm going to let you, because we want to hear your voices.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm tired of hearing my voice. I've been...
You're going to be hoarse. You're going to be hoarse.
All right. Alina has something to say. Hello, Alina. Are you there?
I am here.
Hi.
Where are you calling in from?
Girl, how are you?
Awesome.
Good. You actually answered my question, but I wanted to get on and donate a session if someone wants one tonight. So I wanted to donate a session because I think it's such a must-have for people who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs. I literally sit in my car and cry because I don't want to go to work. It is so stressful, and knowing that there's more in me.
Oh,
so
wow.
I made a peaceful decision to leave, find something part-time, and work on my brand. And I'm a single mom of 5. I've done the whole 7-day a week, 2 jobs, work 96 hours a week. And I know that I feel peace that this is time for me to continue to build my brand. So I want someone else to have that as well.
Oh,
Wow,
Alina, that's girl, you about to have me crying over here, because this is what it's all about. It's all about that, coming to terms with it yourself. I can talk all I want to, but until it kind of resonates with you and you come to terms, and you, like you said, that's what it was. When I've had those different, peaks, it's been because I have come to peace with it. I have a peace about it that overcomes me. Just like I had that uneasiness and that dark thing that came over me when it was time to transition out of that and into the light, then I had that peace. It was just like I didn't even have to try to figure out how the bills were going to be paid. I just knew it was going to be taken care of because
exactly.
Because, I mean, it's going to be provision for your vision. And if you're going to walk purposely into your vision, why in the world would God let you fail? So it was just a real peaceful thing for me, too. And I'm so happy you were able to share that. And that's so amazing that you're willing to do that for someone else.
Yes, I am more than willing. I'm going to type in my email address. Whoever wants it, just let me know. First person that hit me up, I'm going to definitely go on PayPal and gift it out.
That is amazing. So here's what we're gonna do.
That's awesome.
We're gonna take that and we're gonna send that out in the email tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
So first of all, thank you so much. That is so amazing.
And so selfless.
It's so selfless. So thank you for that. Number one, and we still have like 80% of the people still on the call. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you don't know. You guys don't have a clue.
Everybody give Alina a round of applause.
Yay!
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take your information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, instead of giving it, we'll find it.
Yeah, and they'll respond, and we'll connect it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so
wonderful.
That's what we're gonna do. Tomorrow, email.
Can you email me, Alina?
I sure can.
Yeah.
I sure can.
He says, "Yay, Alina."
And branding at Ask April Love. Anybody could take this. Branding at AskAprilLove.com. That's branding, all one word, at AskAprilLove.com.
Okay, I will send it out to you tonight.
That's
awesome.
Totally awesome. All right, so well, thank you so much for that, Alina, and I think it's like April said, it's really a good place to be when you're at peace and you make that decision, and then
it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
You can walk away knowing that you're in the right place. So
yes.
Awesome. All right, guys. So listen, I'm gonna save April the rest of her night because she's been working really hard. We've been 8 weeks on this, so I'm gonna give her a break. I've been in her face way too long.
No, it's all good. This is
thank you guys, everybody. Go ahead one last time, take a picture of the screen, tag April, tag myself.
Please tag me, yes.
And I want to say this has been an honor, and I've learned so much just working with April over the past 8 weeks or so, just about going through this process, right? And I look forward to learning even more from the guests right along with you guys. All right. So to everybody that's joined, thank you so much. If you haven't joined, you still have another 53 minutes to get it at the $39 price. Price will go up. Just letting you guys know that now. So go ahead and get it. It's cheaper than a date to the movies.
And I promise we're going to leave it all on the table. I have so much to share.
That's $39.
I'm going to try my best to get it all done by 5 o'clock, but it's a lot to share, and I want to make sure everybody leaves full.
Everybody leaves full. There you go. So, all right, guys. So, geez, one more hand just went up again. Okay, we're going to say goodnight. Any other questions, just go ahead.
Yeah, email me. Email me. It's coming right to my phone. Right. I will answer, I promise, until I go to sleep because I am full now. And you all have been a blessing to me, and I thank you for being destiny fulfilled for me. And I can't wait to connect more. All right, have a blessed night, everybody.
Good night, guys.